here we are. So we've got some questions. I'm sure there's going to be some questions about things going on in the world. And I would like to discuss them if you're up for it.
Yes.
Yes? Oh, great, yeah. So I'm very keen on hearing your opinions and sharing. So please try not to interrupt too much. Well, hopefully I can keep you going anyway. So, okay. So I'm just going to the top one here. It says here, what do the yoga texts? Oh my God, I have to warn you now. Okay, I better warn you. I do have a tendency to go on about things. So, and obviously, some question may be quite voluminous. It could take several days. So I hope you're comfortable. But we've got about 30 minutes or something, 35 minutes, I think, looking at that. I think till quarter past. So we're going to do our best. So I'm going to kind of nutshell a lot of things. So here we go. We got what do the yoga texts say about how to resolve conflict? Okay, so the simple answer on how to resolve conflict is do not kill anything. We should immediately stop killing anything. So if we're killing something, stop it. So that's the yoga text, bottom line, how to resolve conflict. Otherwise, if we're going to create conflict by killing, then conflict's going to come right back at us. According to the yoga text, it's a thing called karma. Has anyone heard of that? We've all heard of karma now. I remember, I was thinking about what to talk about, and I remember there was, when I was 21, I think I was 21, and I met this guy, and he told me he was a vegetarian. And I asked him, what is that? I'm serious. I had absolutely no idea what a vegetarian was. So anyone I'd ever met or anyone I'd ever been with never brought that up. And soon after that, funnily enough, there was a friend of mine whose girlfriend was a vegetarian. And I just thought that was pretty amazing. So we can see it's presented, the yoga text present that if we are violent to one another or to the innocent animals, then violence will come back at us. So by being violent, we will create conflict. So that's the yoga. Yes?
Can I ask a question? What about pest control? A lot of areas, one fine pests, we must do pests. Sometimes on the farming land, if the pests cause damage and strike that. What do you say about pest control?
If we're going to be violent, then that will create conflict. So, like if we look at New Zealand, there's a real sort of regime about particular animals or a particular one, especially. It's the demoniac. Who is it? Who could tell me? Possum. I think it's a possum, isn't it? But possum. The possum. The demon possum. Do you know how the demon possum got here? There was actually never naturally a demon possum in Australia. The skins at some point, 150 years ago were like gold. So they introduced the possums from Australia, where they are an endangered species. Funnily enough, isn't it? And they're a protected species in Australia, the possums. Did you know that? So they're actually protected in Australia. Over here, you give way to a possum, you're just a criminal. You're a low down person. So the thing is that we brought them over here and they like eating the native trees here. So whose fault is that? So now we blame them, funnily enough, for destroying the trees and native, which of course they are doing, but I think they've probably got a long way before they catch up with us. I live up north. We have quite a few karri trees on our property. And when you drive further up north, you can see the forest, which used to just be all of New Zealand practically. Well, I think it was most of the karri were mostly the North Island, upper North Island. But it used to be all like that. And certainly, like I say, I think it's going to be quite some centuries before the possums can catch up with the damage that we've done. But yes, of course, there are pests. The best policy is not to kill anything. If we've got to consider, are we going to starve to death unless we kill this innocent animal just trying to eat? Are we going to starve to death? Then maybe there may be a justification. But I'm just saying from the Veda, the yoga text, I'm just saying from the yoga text perspective, don't kill anything. Yes.
What about to prevent that animal from killing other animals, such as like a cat, especially a murder machine? Thousands of birds and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yes, no, totally. Yeah, we've got a cat that sometimes you want to strangle because it brings in some half-dead animal, plonks it on the floor, its guts hanging out. So the thing there, the yoga text, very good question. So the yoga text present that we've all heard of karma. I think I mentioned that before. So karma, basically, human beings are the only species that incur karma, good or bad, right? We're the only species. Any other species doesn't incur karma. They have no choice. A cat kills because that's its nature, it has no choice. A lion kills, that's its nature, it has no choice. So all those, that's how they live. They eat the flesh of other animals. We don't need to do that. We don't actually need to consume flesh. If we were going to die or consume another animal's flesh, well then, but I don't really think, especially here in New Zealand, there's any of us really in that situation. Go to the supermarket, there's so much food all over the place. So does that answer your question? Animals will do what they do. They don't incur any karma. And the karma is basically considered, there's individual karma and collective karma. So individually, we're doing karmic activities, and then collectively as a society or a nation, that's collectively taken in, and then it comes back collectively in societies. And actually the yoga texts present that by being violent to other, especially to innocent animals, that this will create war. This is the karmic impact of such an activity. Okay. Any other questions on that? Yes.
With animals not having karma and stuff. I lost my train of thought. I was so excited.
That's great.
I was so excited.
We like
I'm
excitement.
ready. As long as it's my time to just start.
Come back, right? Okay, cool. All right, so here we go. We got free will vs destiny. Is that right? Free will, who was that? And, yep. Okay, free will vs destiny. The question is, do we have any free will, or is it all destiny? Do we have any free will? Who would say we have free will? Hands up. Free will. Okay. And who would say that it's all destined? You would say that? Yeah. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. Yeah. So what do the yoga texts say about that? Because there's something about feeling something and there's things. So if we're coming back again, quite interesting, we're coming back to karma every time, karma. So karmically, we have a particular destiny. According to the yoga texts, if you think about your lives now, we're developing desire. We're developing like if we could put all of our desires and wants into a form. How would be the best way to say it? You know, sometimes you hear a song and it brings up some image. So similarly, through our whole lives, we get to points, well, constantly, really, we think, if only I could have this, or if only I could be like this, if I could be super handsome, super beautiful, super wealthy, super intelligent. Isn't it? There's some of us, anyone here kind of thought, you know, if I could be the smartest in the class. Funny, I should have thought that one because I was not very smart. But actually, I never really thought about ever being the smartest in the class. Funny that, I just thought about that. So the thing is, but we're developing these desires. If only I could be wealthy. Anyone ever thought that? Like stinking rich. Isn't it? Anyone? Yeah, right. Yeah. So stinking rich, like an athlete. Anyone thought I want to be an athlete? Anyone? Yeah. I was a bit late to I was kind of like a couch potato. And my two brothers were very outgoing, you know, especially my younger brother. He was always like, what are you just sitting there for? Let's go do this. And off he'd run. I was just like, whoa, woof, dizzying. For me, it was dizzying. Oh my God, why is he? Anyway, they didn't have controls in those days. You had to manually change the TV. So I was a real couch potato. And then later on, sort of in my 20s, I kind of had some love of sports, you know, and it's you think, yeah, I was playing soccer, you know, woo, get a goal, yeah, get all that attention. You know, anyone ever thought about being a music star? Yeah, isn't it? Oh, so many choices. Or you could say free will, right? It's kind of like a free will thing. So there's a certain element yoga texts talk about a free will. This is this desire we're free to choose all these particular things that we think will make us feel really good, right? That will make us happy. So the destiny part is there. So it's kind of like a combination aspect. We all have free will according to the yoga text to choose. And what's a destiny? Well, these desires lock us into our destiny, right? I can remember an example when I was about 5. I remember I used to, because I was a couch potato, I was in the mind, just like thinking, you know. And I used to think about the perfect place when I was 5. It was amazing, right? So what it was like these, I don't know if you guys get these mints, you know, the leaf mint. Remember the leaf mint? Anyone? Bit of history here. You get these little mints into the shape of a leaf mint, you know, so you'd have a chocolate trunk. The trees would be chocolate trunks with mint leaves, these sweet mint leaves, and a Coca-Cola stream. You know, and we'd have like all these wonderful sweets available. I mean, if you wanted some Coke, you just go and drink it out of the stream. You can jump in there and like, I mean, I was just in heaven, right? So my free will was thinking, if I was in such a place, I would be happy. Utterly and completely happy, right? And the destiny is that I'm desiring that, and the material nature will give that to me, will give that scenario to me. But what would happen? Honestly, if I find myself on a planet of chocolate, really? I mean, and actually, to be honest, I'll start by saying I'm a savory sort of a guy. I don't really get, sweets don't really do it for me. I'd like a samosa any day. You know, I really like savories. So the thing is, what would happen? Can you tell me if I just ended up on a planet like that? Of course, I'm not saying destiny is going to make me come to a planet like that. I'm just giving an example, just in case, just to make that clear. But what would happen? Would I be happy?
You'd get bored of it, probably.
Get bored?
You'd get
What, how long until I throw up?
Yeah, you're pretty sick.
I mean, you know, just you get massive headaches, drink Coke, it's just like everything's sticky. I hate sticky. I just really freak out at sticky. Oh my God. So actually, I wouldn't really be happy, right? Isn't it? I wouldn't be, no, actually, I'll tell you right now, I would not be happy. Anyone here be happy there? I know there's some real sweet fiends around. Anyone? Yeah, but you go for it?
I wouldn't go for
No,
that.
right, even the sweet fiend, I'm biased, I'm not a sweetie, but he's a sweetie. And he says no. So the thing is that the free will and the destiny, so we have free will to do whatever we want. Be wealthy, be rich, well, same thing, wealthy, rich, famous, opulent, so many intelligent, beautiful, handsome, so many different options. We have all these options available, like a big platter of free will. But what happens if we get it? This is what the yoga texts say. This is the most important, one of the most important realizations is we need to know what the destination of our free will is so that actually we can achieve what we're actually looking for, which is all these destinations we're thinking will be happy, isn't it? All of them. We're not thinking, yeah, I'm really going to suffer if I do this. Let it happen. We don't really do that. Someone do that? It's usually someone. Anyone? No? No one today? Okay, that makes it easy. Maybe they just secretly. No, let's face it, no one does that, right? Because no one wants to be miserable. All of these, all the free will we have, all these images of free will, which we, over a period of time, at the time of when we leave this particular body, right? This material nature, according to the yoga text, this material nature looks up all your desires. Big tally, way more sophisticated than a computer though, but just to give that example, all your things, and then gives us, isn't this amazing? Gives us a material body, right? That we can fulfill those desires in. And the yoga texts say that we've been doing this for a really, really long time. And the yoga texts present at some point we start to cotton on. Very few people in the material world start to cotton on. It says, hang on a minute, this is a bit of a rip-off. Because the yoga texts actually say you will not actually achieve what you're trying to, your free will, your destiny will not be what you want. We've all got one. We're all sitting in our destiny. And we get to play it out like destiny's like if you get a ticket to, say, the United States of America, or say Hawaii. I mean, free will. I mean, who wouldn't use their free will to go to Hawaii? Isn't it? I mean, at top of the list, free will, let's go to Hawaii, right? So we get the ticket, you get on the plane, what happens? You can't get off the plane. You're destined to go to Hawaii, and you've got to live out that trip, and you won't be out of that aspect of destiny. You won't be out of that until you come back. So imagine that. I mean, hey, it might be quite cool, Hawaii, right? I don't know, I've never been there. Anyone been to Hawaii? Yeah? Oh, a few people, great, nice. I hear the weather's good, right? Right. So the thing is that this particular body we have is our Hawaii trip. This is it. We're sitting in our Hawaii trip, and we were born in this Hawaii trip. And when we leave this body, that's when we finish the Hawaii trip. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's the destiny part. You're kind of locked into what you used your free will to get. So the yoga texts say what is the most important thing to do, to desire? What is the most important thing to use your free will for? So the yoga texts explain all that, but most people are not interested. It's just how it is. Most people just want to keep going to Hawaii or think that they're going to Hawaii. So hopefully that explains that. Is there any questions about that? Really exciting topic.
Just a very, very quick question. I know we've got a few questions. So does that mean in our previous life we desired something so that this particular material body?
So sorry, what was that?
So in our previous life, we're saying we desired something so that we get this material body that we're in now.
We're sitting in our option. We're sitting in our free will. This is our will, our free will to be here. Yes, you're absolutely. There's no doubt. And it's kind of like a bit of a rip-off, according to the yoga text. It's a bit of a rip-off because we've got this destiny to outlive this particular state of mind. It's not just the physical appearance. We all know we have a mind. Let's face it, that's the tough part. You know, if anyone was asked, do they want physical comfort or peace of mind? Let's have a survey. Let's be scientific about it. Who would prefer having physical, who would prefer physical discomfort as opposed to distressed mind? Was that the wrong way to ask the question? Okay, hang on. I think it was, wasn't it? That was confusing. I was confused. And I asked the question. So would you rather have, okay, I'll ask first. Okay, would you rather have a discomfort, an uncomfortable body, material body, gross body, or an uncomfortable mind? So uncomfortable body, hands up. Okay, uncomfortable mind? Wow, that's interesting. You said uncomfortable mind?
Yeah.
Okay, no, good. Yeah, I'm with that. Has anyone been in love? Hands up. Okay, all right. In a relationship? Hands up. Most people should have been in a relationship. Anyway, so there was a comfortable part in the mind, and then there was this really uncomfortable part in the mind, wasn't there? I mean, it kind of goes for all of us. I mean, that's just the reality. You've got to be realistic. Sorry about that. But, you know, it was comfortable, then it's uncomfortable. And if you're lucky, you can go comfortable, uncomfortable, comfortable, and then you kind of hang in there, you know, which is good. I mean, I've been married for over 30 years, so I'm doing really well. And my wife's doing really, really well. I mean, I'm doing really well because she's got to put up with me for 30 years, you know, so I'm very fortunate. So the thing is that actually, if we really think about it, when we get into a distressful mind situation, we could be comfortable in the body. If you think about this, we can be comfortable in the body, but if our mind's distressed, we're distressed. You can be uncomfortable in the body, but if your mind's peaceful, then actually there is no discomfort. So the yoga texts talk a lot about the mind, the subtle body, which is in the physical body. So it's presented there. I'm getting excited here. Sorry. It's presented by the yoga text that the subtle body goes from one gross body into the next. This is our sort of going with the free will thing into the body, the destiny body. If I missed the question, I think I've talked about something else. Oh, did I get it? Yeah, I can't even remember the question. Sorry. Were there any other questions? Is that okay? Shall we move on? This is pretty exciting, isn't it? I love this. Love talking about this stuff. Okay. Human extinction, is that right? Human extinction and also war. Oh, so, okay, so the Vedic, I forgot what I was doing here. The Vedic text on human extinction. Who has this? Is that right? Am I saying that right? Human extinction, Vedic text on human extinction and war. We sort of talked about war, actually. Basically, people wanting to take advantage, be bullies. And then you've got people defending themselves. That's war. So human extinction. Yeah, well, I mean, we haven't seen that so far, but the Vedic text, I mean, I think that we'd have to be pretty arrogant to consider we can destroy ourselves, though we're doing a pretty good job of it. And the Vedic text, basically, if we think about the way to look at this actually is that these material bodies are coming and going. We have one right now. So actually we're kind of like, it's like you get 90 or 100 years, 80 to 100 years sort of thing. And then you're actually extinct from this particular body. Then you enter into another body. So you can look at it that way. It's happening all the time, every day, in a small scale, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to put it into perspective. That actually what we've got to consider is, what are we doing? According to the Vedic text, what are we doing with our free will? And how are we trying to move towards getting out of this cycle? It's called the cycle of repeated birth and death. Like, birth sounds like a real cool thing. It's always pretty exciting. Someone's born, but and then death. No one's really so keen. It's not like a party. Woo! So, but when there's births, but actually with birth and death are the same aspects, just two different sides of a coin. Someone's just died, therefore there's a birth. And someone's born, therefore yeah, someone just died. So yeah, we got to consider in a smaller nuclear thing about that. Let's face it, we definitely seem to have the potential to destroy ourselves, and we've been at it for a few decades, not just wars. Actually, we're stripping our planet with all of its resources, and we're really quite enthusiastic about that. I think they've started to realize, hey, maybe this isn't such a good idea. But according to the yoga text, the reason for this, getting into this calamitous state, is greed. If we think about the question, free will, so we're using our free will to exploit this planet because we think that it's going to make us happy. So therefore, where does that cease? Is anyone, like, eating or buying something that they like, or get some nice clothes or some shoes or a jacket or a car, when did they ever think, I'm completely satisfied? Anyone? I mean, it would be a real hit. It's like, it's certainly, I remember I bought a car, it was like 5 years old or something, about 20 years ago. I felt embarrassed. I can feel this. Yeah, check this car out. I was trying to kind of like, ooh, whoa, I could feel it in me. So we're kind of like, we're getting a hit by sucking the planet dry. But where's the end? When does it finish? It finishes when we have to fly to another planet to carry on living. But even then, that poor planet, because that planet's going to be destroyed. I mean, yoga texts don't say any of that. It was a complete fabrication. But it's just to give a picture. Actually, it never ends. And that's why the yoga texts are giving us a way of proper desire actually saves all these problems. War, forget it. Destroying the planet, forget it. Because we become focused on ourselves, about being satisfied with ourselves, instead of taking something. How many things can you take? And when did it ever give complete satisfaction? So hopefully that, any questions? Yes.
I think we in the room mostly agree that we prefer a comfortable, satisfied mind to satisfied body. But we're often distracted by just buying things and getting things done, even though we know better. What do the yoga texts say to do in order to live this advice?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question is, what do the yoga texts tell us to do when we know better? We should be satisfying our minds, focused on satisfying our bodies, even though we know that we should be doing the other thing we want.
Well, I mean, most people don't know that. Most people are completely oblivious. I wouldn't say that most people would say, I mean, if you think about all of your friends, do they feel that we should be trying to satisfy ourselves and not consume by? Would that be a fair thing? Yeah, most people are completely, they're just thinking, we're all being, you know, it's just like we're being, when you go to school. So can anyone tell me, everyone here's been to school, I hope. Can anyone tell me what subject where they explained how you can be happy? Anyone? Anyone? No one? Is that not quite surprising? I mean, what is the goal of life? No, actually, the system, it's a material system where it's set up so that people are educated to fit into the work group so that they can get money and then they can use that money to be happy, right? And once again, if we think about, it comes back to that desire, the free will. We're thinking with our free will. We're at school. I never really thought about much when I was at school, unfortunately. But the thing is, you know, a lot of people at school, I imagine, wasn't really what I thought, but a lot of people, I was just thinking, when can I leave? But a lot of people, they're thinking, okay, if I do this career or that career, then, and this is like free will. This is our free will to desire, and we're thinking, if we get that package, we'll be happy. So actually, that's not true. They should have a class about that you can try and do this, but you will fail. Yeah, not very encouraging, but factual. According to the yoga text, it's just an absolute waste of time. What the yoga text presents is that, okay, it's a necessity, but it's not the goal of life. It's a necessity. You get a job, you know, you make an income to feed yourselves. That's kind of important. House yourself. Might want to find someone to live with, have some children, have a family. That's all. That's okay, but that's not the goal of life, according to the yoga text. The yoga text is within that scenario, within that arena, right? What do you use your free will for? That's just matter of fact stuff you got to do. That's the reality. But what's the most important thing? What are we using our free will for? And that is, I know there's a book called Bhagavad Gita. Some of you may have read that, or you may have heard of it. I would recommend getting it. It talks about the details to this. I've got like 3 minutes. I'm going to go. Oh, I've got 3 minutes actually. No point going on. That was great. We got through 3. Sorry about the others. I'm really sorry. Are there any questions? Just to finish. Oh, shall I try a question quickly? No? Yeah? Hey? Okay. Okay, we've got the war thing. It's definitely on people's minds. The war again. Happiness. Love talking about happiness, but not in 2 minutes. But we have been talking about that, actually. It encompasses everything. Love. Right, what do the yoga texts say about love? You might have to come back next week. Love. That's right. Yoga texts talk a lot about love. Is anyone surprised about that? The yoga text, the goal, this is incredible and very exciting. The goal of the yoga text is to talk about the most incredible, highest experience of love. Ooh, I'm tingling just saying this. Of love that we by experiencing, we cannot tolerate it. Woo! Does that sound like what's that? Does that sound like a good thing to use your free will to achieve? Because that's what the yoga text saying. Use your free will to achieve this inconceivable. It's inconceivable because it's so incredible. You can't stand it. Love. It's available for everyone. And you know how much it costs? Absolutely nothing. We don't have to destroy a planet to get it. We don't have to go anywhere to get it. We have to do some things, of course, let's be realistic. There's some things we have to do. And in the Bhagavad Gita explains what you can do to achieve that, how you can hone in your free will. We all have it. What are we going to use it for? Let's use it to find the most incredible, unbelievably, completely, I'm trying to think of the word, but I can't think of a good enough word. Like totally saturated, becoming unconscious because we cannot handle the love that we feel. Wow. And we will not find it in a new car or a new pair of shoes. Actually, in this material world, any material substance won't give you that love, but we can experience it. It's right there. And we're very few people here. There's not so many people. There should really be packed. There should be millions of people here wanting to hear about how to actually achieve love, happiness. There should be millions, but people they're living out their destiny. So went over a bit, but that was exciting, that last bit, wasn't it? Wow. Okay, so all right, thanks so much, guys.